God damn it, God damn it. You know what it is. You know we up in here, we up in here. Whoosh! It's Bibbity Boot, man. And this is the Barrel City Podcast. You got to remember, this is the high level of what we're going to be bringing to this craft. You know, dang it, I should have used a better word, but I'm just letting y'all know what the energy is. We definitely going to be up. This is a high level episode, episode 6, titled Deadpool Wolverine movie review. This is just the high energy that we're going to be coming in with, just breaking down that movie. We're also going to be doing the scripture, talking about Psalms 145, 1 through 21. Y'all know I love to add a quote with these things to contribute to the things of this learning. Just showing y'all the space in which I've been at, the battle I've been at, showing you the situations with these struggles, and this scripture is just a connection of those struggles, this big introduction of where I'm going, and also hopefully I can help y'all. We're also going to be attracting a particular apology. I'm not going to give y'all too much details. I got an apology that I need to put out, expressed to a particular someone. I have to apologize for, my leap of judgment may have taken me, with the rest of you hooligans, going off of social media and not doing my own research. But that's what happened. Early journalism, and also we can't make mistakes like that no more. So I have to make my apology. We're gonna be going over a little ad. We're gonna be talking about Darrell Doucette and his position on flag football, and how the NFL's players, how that contributes, and how that world is going, and his really just saying he that guy, just going into his expectation of what he's saying about himself and what they can bring. We're gonna talk about Sexy Red and that Lipgloss, that line, and what all she got going on, and that's how we're gonna make this shake. And finally, Deadpool Wolverine. Like I said, we're reviewing that. That's the big topic. So as y'all know, that's what we're going to be doing. Let's get into it. We're going right into it. I thank y'all, and we're going to see y'all. Let's make it a great, great, great show. Right into it. Let's get into talking with God. How y'all doing today? How we doing today? So we're going to be covering Psalms 145, 1 through 21. I repeat, Psalms 145, 1 through 21. It's a song of praise of David. And I just felt like this particular scripture was very invigorating, very powerful, and giving me where I wanted to go with the message for this week, especially where we may be battling different things. And, it's good to just praise and give God the glory for the things in which we are all being blessed with in our coming times. So, as I said, Psalms 145, 1 through 21, subheader, great is the Lord, subheader, or header to subheader, great is the Lord, the subheader, a song of praise of David. I will exalt you, my God and King, and bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is searchable. One generation shall commend your works to another, and shall declare your mighty acts. On the glorious splendor of your majesty, and on your wondrous works I will meditate. They shall speak of the might of your awesome deeds, and I will declare your greatness. They shall pour forth the fame of your abundant goodness, and shall sing out loud of your righteousness. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. The Lord is good to all, and his mercy is all that he has made. All your works shall give thanks to you, O Lord, and all your saints shall bless you. They shall speak of glory of your kingdom, and tell of your powers, to make known to the children of man your mighty deeds and glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. The Lord is faithful in all his words, kind in all his works. The Lord upholds all who are falling, raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food due season. You open your hands, you satisfy the desire of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all of his ways, and kind in all of his words. The Lord is near to all who call on to him, to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desire of those who fear him. He also hears the cry and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless holy name forever and ever. So, going through that, it's this big praise in which I have to break it down. I'm going to do it by 4 verses. I will exalt you, my God and King, and bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord, and greatly be praised, and his greatness unsearchable. Greatness is unsearchable, okay? One generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. So you sit there, you break that down. I did it by 4. Really, I could do it by 3. And first thing first, you're going off of how David is identifying the love that he has for the Lord himself, and how he's continuously talking about how he's going to praise him, and how he's continuously blessed by him, and how his greatness is unsearchable. There's nobody like the Lord himself. And one generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. So another generation is going to speak about this, and they're going to continue to push on about this love that the Father has created within David himself. So with that being said, a lot of people just got to understand that relationship that you build with Jesus, with the Messiah, with, Jehovah, with, Yahweh, even when you look at the different names, but then you look at, God himself, in the spirit, you look at this relationship that you're building throughout, and what you're truly needing to be appreciative of, and looking at how David is identifying how great and how much he truly appreciates the Lord, and even acknowledges how the generations after his will continue to push forward and declare the mightiness of how great the Messiah is, and how great, that love can continue to expand. So we're going to go from verses 5 to 8. On glorious splendor of your majesty, in our wondrous works I will meditate. I shall speak of the might of your awesome deeds, and I will declare your greatness. They shall pour forth the flame of your abundant goodness, and shall sing aloud of your righteousness. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love. So going from there, glorious splendor of your majesty, you're looking at the greatness, the wonder, so much peace that come with it, just being so much in this meditative space that they bring up. They speak of the mightiness, the greatness, the fame, the abundance of how much, he is, and they're singing just so in bliss of the blessing of the Messiah. And then also just to acknowledge, even when things are not good, and how they may not be living up to the standard that the Messiah has for them, the Lord is gracious and merciful, and he still is slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. So you got to realize he's consistently going to be a father who believes in you. And even when you tick him off once, it's not the thing that blows him, but the thing that really blows him is through a continuous act of your own negligence, and you having to be aware of what you can do, not just for yourself, but also looking how the Lord is doing for you and others, and how wonderful he is. So we're going for a 9 to 13. And this one is really just for a quick glimpse in the fact of the Lord is good to all, and his mercy is all over all that he has made. All your works shall give thanks to you, O Lord, and all your saints shall bless you. They shall speak of glory of your kingdom and tell of your power, to make known to the children of man your mighty deeds and glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. So you're sitting here, we're getting a quick snippet of really the works of the Messiah, just identifying once again his mercy, and also understanding that his works shall give thanks to you, and all the saints that are around him, the ones who are working for him, will bless you. They will speak the glory of your kingdom and tell of your power, and make known to the children of man your mighty deeds. And it's him expanding the teaching the love, and how powerful God is, and what that love really means to us all, and what that love can really do for you, and how this love will continue on for generations and generations. And he's expounding on how that is going to demand and is going to be dominant for generations to come. And it's going to be so fulfilling that most people will never acknowledge and really truly see how powerful and how glorious the Lord is. But it's telling you there will be a day when that shall be continuously being pushed. And even today, that is being pushed a lot more than a lot of people really understand, because it's so many people that know about the Messiah and now that they may have not never known in those previous hundreds of years. The Lord is faithful in all his words and kind in all his works. The Lord upholds, from 14 all the way down to 20. The Lord upholds all who are falling, raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hands, you satisfy the desire of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways, and kind in all his works. The Lord is near to all who call on him, in truth. He fulfills the desires of those who fear him. He also hears the cries and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but all wicked will be destroyed, truly. And just going from there, because I had a piece in the part of 13, I didn't see that part of 13, that the Lord is faithful in all his words and kind in all his works. The Lord upholds all who are falling. So we're looking at how God is just so open and so willing and providing, and so just enriched and so just peaceful in giving this continuous support for us, even when we don't feel supported. And even this time of my own life, of not feeling sometimes the things being connected, or feeling the support supposed to be coming from somewhere or someplace, is that you have to understand that the expectations that you have that you feel like isn't met by others, you have to admit that it has to be met by you alone and not by no one else other than the Father himself. So you also look at how we all call to him for the truth, and he fulfills those desires for even those who love him, and even more for those who fear him. That same amount of that love and hate, that same amount of, he gives up that love. And then he also is willing to be there for you when you're not at your best, and you're crying, you're weak, and you're not feeling like you can make it. You know, the Lord is a preserver of truly a love, but he's also a person that's setting that boundary that, you know, David is letting us know about, is even though he has all this love that he's giving, that final verse of 20 comes and says, but all wicked he will destroy. So even in the things in which you have fallen short, there's a certain, you know, declaration a lot of people don't hear, is that, you know, good fruit bears good fruit, a bad tree bears bad fruit, of course. So you're looking at that, and it's him identifying that there's two kinds of people in this world, and two different people that this applying to, and he's applying it to the people that he is considering his flock. And for those who are not a part of his flock, he's letting them know they will be taken care of. So in that final verse, my mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. So just that final note, my mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. So you're looking at just a huge collaboration of just love and peace and appreciation, and just looking at how the Lord is really letting people know, not even the Lord, let me take that back, David, for the fact he's saying his mouth is speaking that praise for the Lord, and let all flesh his holy name forever and ever pretty much blessed. And he's just letting you know that he's going to continue to be that blessing. He's just so happy to be blessed by, the love of Christ. And I just felt like that is so embodying in the times in which we are in, just to be embodied by that love, be embodied by that peace, be embodied by that satisfaction to do more. And in so many ways, we have to praise and be happy, for these are the times in which we have been fighting for, we are so encouraged by, and we must be encouraged by the need to continue to love and praise, for which his name is so much higher than any name, and it can bring so much peace and so much satisfaction through any situation, ensuring us that this situation that we are encountering is a stepping stone from which nothing can ever derail us from the fact that he is such a complete, open, fulfilling Lord of just so many different things and so many different emotions. He can take us from a situation where we may have not known where we're going to go next, but he's going to take that next and make it that step that feels so much larger than just a 2-step back, but that 1 step forward is going to have so much of a fulfillingness, because that 1 step is going to be a decoration which is going to still lead to more, with the possibility of where we know that love, that decoration of peace, that caressness of our pain is going to be led with a pen of understanding to then legislate, set everything into a pinnacle of peace and a leg of stretching us forward into another step that is gonna be so much more than what we can. I had got caught by that emotion in that, that leg of that next race that I couldn't even get out, because it's so much more to that. That's why I chose the scriptures, because even in this current situation of my own walk, I feel like it's rare for me to acknowledge where my steps are, and sometimes acknowledging how far God has taken me. And just even in this, I feel like it's more to just say, thank you, Lord, fully in praise. I thank you, God. I thank you for this wonderful step that is going to take me further in this leg of a race, because I'd rather be honest and gritty and truthful for what it is. And I feel like that's why I'm going to keep that. I want to keep that stumble, that pain of what it is next. And I want everybody to understand that we are never alone. And that leaves me with a quote. And the quote is, "Forgiveness is a powerful expression of love without our soul," by Anthony Douglas. I repeat, "Forgiveness is a powerful expression of the love within our soul," by Anthony Douglas. And the reason why I went from praising the appreciation of God to forgiveness, sometimes you got to understand that the forgiveness that you have to exhibit isn't for you. And for something that block our spirit is also to understand that the things that block our spirit is the lack of being aware of what our true walk is going to have to take because there are going to be people that don't believe. There's people that's going to do you wrong. There's going to be people that speak bad about you, and you got to forgive them, not for the sake of them, but for the sake of yourself, you know. And I feel like a lot of people can take themselves out of a equation of when love can really do so much for them, and they're so easily, detoured off to where the devil can then play with their mind. And that's likewise for me and so many other people, because it's so much harder to forgive, because the thing is, you have to take that image of who you think they were, and you gotta be honest and realize it is a projection of yourself, and you have to take that responsibility, that accountability. And I feel like that forgiveness is a lot more than we could ever, really conquer in just a certain sitting or a section that you can get in your life, or look at this setting that's gonna make it a lot better. The season's gonna always change, and that ability that you're gonna have to forgive that person is gonna ever evolve, because it's you dealing with parts of yourself bit by bit, which is gonna also deal with that person piece by piece, because there is just a spirit, a face, and there's more of those spirits that are gonna come, and you gotta be willing to extend that grace that God has for you, because you're gonna slip up, and you gotta be honest and realizing to praise the Messiah and understanding that his forgiveness and your forgiveness gotta be linked. Because if you're gonna be the best image of the Father, you have to practice the way that Jesus sees it the same way. So I just wanted to leave y'all with this, and just where y'all spirits can sit and understand in this peace and opportunity, And I feel like it's just something that gauges us into a easier walk of life, but allowing us to acknowledge the faith in which, the Father is so much more than what we really could understand, and just being appreciative for what he is going to bring to us by so many means of just the blessings that we will encounter. And we just got to be appreciative for what he brings, and just be happy that whatever is to come is going to be more fulfilling than we could ever think. So I'm going to lead this in to another topic. I'm going to be going into an apology, not a particular apology. I'm gonna keep y'all on a secret, but I got a little apology I gotta give out. So y'all hear it up. What it is, what it ain't, but we're gonna definitely explain, beyond this, and just give out my own level of not just forgiveness, but my apologies. So here we go. Yeah. I'm gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna have to be forthcoming with it. I was told by somebody I made an error in a episode further back, and I didn't really acknowledge, some details were hidden from me, and later on I ended up being it brought to me later on this week, and I was told to address it, and was the beat around the bush and to get straight to it. I'm going to apologize to Michael Ealy, my green-eyed brother in Christ. He was not disrespectful to Brother Majors. He didn't bring Brother Majors down, okay? He gave the brother the love. He did that Brody up, okay? So I have to send my apologies to Michael Ealy, and be forthcoming on the fact of I ain't have all the information. I was going off of social. They had somebody cut the video. My boy did that, their cousin up, from what I heard. So I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know homeboy was real with him. I just assumed he was pulling some light skin mess. I ain't know. That's on me. I feel like homeboy, he did his thing, you know, doing what he had to do, doing what he could, but at the same time, I feel like I get into a situation where, not been that. I feel like people may have been hating. I feel like they did that on purpose, you know what I'm saying? People were probably trying to play some moves, get some stuff, trying to get brothers to break up. Brother Majors is already going through enough in his life. At the end of the day, things happen. People gotta do what they gotta do. But I think in our relationship and what we do and how we address one another and see a situation or how a situation can actually move forward, I think it comes from a lot of addressing that we have to be real with one another. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times people don't see that. I think a lot of people think we get to see behind the camera. We really don't. I think certain situations can cause a situation to pop off and be a bad representation of us. Especially through social media, we have to be aware of that. But truly, from what I heard, brother Ely did come in and address him on a separate tip on the fact he dapped him up before all this had to be recorded. I just feel like people love to break us up, but I do not take back. That light-skinned brother did sit here and still hug Megan in a certain kind of way. It was still disrespectful. I can't take that away. That light-skinned Negro, he was doing what he had to do on the fact that he was letting you know something. I don't think that was appropriate by Megan Good and the fact of how she allowed herself to be addressed and held up and did all that in front of that man that she particularly cared for. I think that just came down to being a situation where, you can't really say much than the fact of, hey, like how you want to be treated and what people do to treat you is same way they're going to treat somebody else. So I just got to keep it point blank, keep it dry. I wanted to give my formal apology to old green-eyed man and just let him know that was my bad. I didn't know what I was talking about. I followed the rest of the sheep, but still, you ain't had no business picking old Megan Good up like that. You dead wrong for that. That was some high-low, light-skinned behavior, and I still believe that man should got jacked up. Point blank, period. That's just how it is. I'm like, he still was old one. So I'm gonna slide into my advertisement. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into different chapters, but we got a little advertisement for y'all. So talk to y'all soon. Y'all gonna hear from a different angle. Yee. Let's get it. You know what it is, man. You looking for exposure? You want a shout out? That's going from your music, anything, your page, mostly businesses, things that you got going on. Look no further here, man. Barrel City Podcast. We got deals, big things about anything coming to advertisement. We advertise your show on the pod. Advertise anything you got going on. Hit me up. Our page today on Barrel City Podcast on IG and TikTok. Transform your business, embrace the season of change. Y'all want something different, come here. We're going to make it happen. If you're looking for particular people, you want to put people on, you want to have somebody in front of the camera, you want to have opportunity, hit us up. You know what it is. Barrel City Podcast. You know what it is. Let's go. Alrighty. Let's get it into it. All right, Darrell Doucette on being a better QB in flag football and the translation of flag football or the translation of NFL players, into flag football. So I'm looking at this and this big study and everything in which if you're a sports enthusiast, somebody that loves the sport, of course I haven't spoken about too much football on my particular channel in my podcast, but I feel like overall, I was listening to his detailed opinion and perspective on the translation for these people to make it in, and I completely agree. It didn't take me rocket scientists. I seen through comments, different people making comments on how can you think you're better than Patrick Mahomes is not one. I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect the man. He is not the best. We're gonna cut that out. He has a very great system. He has a very great team. He has very good offensive coordinators. He had a very good quarterback coach. He is somewhat of a star in the aspect of being able to distribute the ball in the way he does. I think he had a lot of great teammates. I think he would say the same thing. But to just say he's purely great to a point where we're disregarding different quarterbacks for the things they had less of and did a lot more with, is completely oblivious, and I can speak for many different quarterbacks who showed that they had a very much, not as much assets to give them an opportunity to move forward. We can look at Matt Stafford. We can even look at Lamar. We can look at all the different players who've shown the ability to do with less is more. Even, Tom Brady, I throw up. But most importantly, I showed out even Peyton Manning, because he ain't damn near have no Super Saiyan team, and it took him a while to transcend and translate his game over time. So to the point of which I'm saying, for Patrick Mahomes to understand the game, because as I was listening to him and he was breaking it down from his interview that he had with where are those, I don't even gonna give him their credit, TMZ, I won't give him their credit, and he was talking about the translation, as Darrell Doucette was talking about this translation of how NFL players would not make this transition and how they understand the game, and how it's two different games. And I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, he's not far from that. Like, it didn't take me rocket scientists to realize those games were totally different. Even when I watched Pro Bowl and then their contribution of doing flag football compared to the higher level of flag football. Like, a lot of people do not acknowledge or know nothing about it, because we have a lot of casual people. We live lives. I have nothing against that. I personally don't talk about sports that I do not watch on a monthly basis, a yearly basis. I don't talk about the bag throwing, bowling, or world poker tournaments. I don't, because I'm not into that world. I feel like a lot of casual people had the ability to casually push on judgment because they watch football. You watch football don't mean you understand football, understand the playbook of football, understand the meaning of football. Because you play NCAA football does not make you an enthusiast understanding the game and how to play any of that. You don't know how to play it. You don't know how to coach it. You probably couldn't even coach Pee Wee team to even for them to even execute anything that you're saying. So that being said, I think a lot of people trying to pass on this judgment of what they think he can and can't do. I watched this game. I watched people talking about, well, his mechanics are crazy. It don't matter about his mechanic. You see, people keep thinking about the mechanics, looking at all this, thinking that they watch NFL football. You don't know what you're talking about. I think a lot of people have these hoop dreams, just like Napoleon Dynamite's brother, well, and his uncle, out there running around doing tape in front of the camera throwing the football. That ain't the same transition, and it's a difference in the game. That is just something that people need to acknowledge first, forth, and understanding for the most, and first more for the most. I'm tripping everything up, but it frustrates me because I always find people to leave a comment. And I had a quote from somebody, gave me a quote about that. People love to leave comments regarding other people's talents or what they believe in their perspective. And they don't even, if it really cost them to leave a comment, most people will keep their mouth shut. And I think that's just a valid quote. I don't know where I got it from, who gave it to me, but it's a valid quote on the fact that a lot of people love to talk about a lot of people's talents and what they can do, but never effectively acknowledging what they're not really doing per se, or understanding what they're doing, or seeing what they can do, or even can copy what they do. It's a lot of people speaking on another man's talents, as well as Patrick Mahomes saying, Patrick Mahomes was trying to, you're a casual, you might just that. People, and I'm going to say it, for which is my show. A lot of people who are European, who, you're not meant to play the sport for a long period of time. You're not liking the transition of the sport in regards. Patrick Mahomes is not 100% Lamar Jackson. And, I don't like to talk about it on the fact, but I have to be direct on the fact of colorism. The colorism and the fact of how I feel about sports and how people look at sports is Europeans do not like to watch sports when it doesn't have great representation. Nobody likes to watch anything without their representation. But as the game has evolved, they've chosen people who are maybe lighter in skin and complexion, who may not choose this fandom, but they acquire this fandom cunningly, just like in the sense of WNBA, to go into something I particularly have some things of conversation on and knowledge about, because I know, because I observed and I've not just made a quick observation of, is like Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is another example where people have a fandom based on prejudices. It's a prejudice. There's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people address just not saying it because you have a prejudice towards this particular, you have a liking to this particular person based on a prejudice of your own, in which your own reflection of seeing somebody that is in your own image. So that's the thing that gets me, is a lot of people love to nut rag Mahomes, which are not particularly people who are clear of the ethnic boundaries and understanding that you can cheer on people who may not look like you. You know, we all like John Wayne. It doesn't mean we got to sit here and be like, because he's a white fellow and we see a black cowboy based on the fact of actual history, that we got to sit here and downplay John Wayne. There's never been no situation that we need to ever do that. So the same thing needs to account for the fact of this man's talent and him professionally playing this sport for several years. Comparing it to Patrick Mahomes' skill is not even fair of even of equating each other in the same bowl or circumstances. I had seen a comment, I don't know if he posted it, Mahomes, where he put out the emoji and a little, a GIF. He can do all that gift and all that. He can go and train in that and perfect his skill to be able to be ready for 2028. That's all, we can't get against that, because all it is he has the talent, but can he translate the talent in which he's acquired over years into a separate sport? Because people are not looking at flag football as a separate sport. They hear football and think football, and they can watch rugby and don't know what's going on, and that still has something that has a element of football in it. Or they can watch soccer and still don't get soccer, because you don't watch soccer or football as the rest of the world calls it. So all I'm trying to say is, the biggest element of which we're seeing, from colorism to the fact that people doubting the ability of somebody they've never seen before and they have admitted they haven't seen before, and then the lack of education of what two different sports are, it has created this big blurb in which we watch the internet, and many examples show the ignorance of people in the States who do not initially understand the differences between particular products because they have casual means of seeing the product. We can't do nothing for you if you don't have the means to want to learn what this product is. Like Jamar Chase, and we can look at wide receivers from all the way from the past to Rice, to Terrell Owens, to looking at new players, Tyreek and CeeDee Lamb. I'm just gonna throw a name out there, and those people may be able to translate. They will be able to, to cut and get open this universal. That's backyard football, to flag football, to, touch football. But to look at the means of where it comes to with the abilities of understanding the game for quarterback and defenders is a lot more ensured and increased in the sense of understanding the sport, and then the releasing of habits in which you normally get used to being more physically dominant, and to allow yourself to give this edge in which you don't have in the sense of elusiveness or the training, or even the ability to keep up with the physical attributes of somebody that's in front of you, counting out to the cornerbacks, like people like Jalen Ramsey, press corners, people that set those means by a physical situation. So with that being said, I'm looking at this in just a whole embodiment of really where the sport is really going, where people really need to be encouraging is, we need to look at the past games of people who performed and look at our representative U.S. team, because we have a representative U.S. team that has been that for several years now, and we're already trying to edge off to see our favorite players. This movie star fandom behavior that we have from people, you are fanned out too much. It's too many people fanned out over people that you never met, you never had an encounter with, you never grew up with, you don't know these people, and if you grew up with them, you're not growing with them now. There's a lot of people want to look at people from your past and think they're in your future because you knew of them back in the past, but you know representation of them that they don't even may not even have it themselves anymore. That person that back in high school, he was a sweetheart and he was very kind. Now he's a fucking serial blank. You gotta realize things change, people behavior change. Not everybody is in the same realm of being the same person as what you remember them as. I think that's just to go away from this point and just to even come back to him, the main person, and looking at, Darrell and his level of knowledge and confidence that he has in his sport isn't a backstep and him feeling like he has to be establishing himself to say all this. He has to say this because you as a American people are so quick to give away something people have earned. And I imagine this is the reason why a lot of people like to get upset. You would never like somebody to go into your home, into your job, and go up there and be like, all right, I'm qualified more than him. I want his spot, his chair, his desk, him, her, she, they, them. I need all that out of there in that space, and I'm going to need what it is. And nobody wants to sit here and be able to cooperate and understand that you would never like somebody to come in with their resume, be like, I want that spot, and they go and move your shit off that desk. You wouldn't. That doesn't even make sense to you, because then you be like, you can't just do that. You're firing me and you're letting me go because that's a better, but I've been with this company 5 years. I don't care. This person's a better candidate. We don't like that. Even now, we that's something in America that we struggle with now, is people who may come from outside the company coming in with some experience and getting paid more than the people that put in the time and kept, revenue coming in. The lack of loyalty, the respect of what people have for one another, and people will continue to push that onto other people that you wouldn't want to be pushing yourself, to push off another man's livelihood, and then to consider that's because, we want to do what's best and we can put out our best representation. You don't even like NBA players, okay? Let's cut to the chase. You like Jason Tatum because he's light-skinned. You like Steph Curry because he's light-skinned. Gordon Hayward was a disappointment. Kevin Love was a disappointment. You love Larry Bird. You all don't want to see black people succeed. You're tired of seeing your son hold up African-American men up to a certain standard. You're tired of seeing your wives hold these men up to a standard. Let's keep the buck. You don't like somebody and you still have this anguish of sexual frustration in which you project onto sports and to other people, and expecting the constituents to understand around you why you don't like somebody based on the fact that you are jealous of this person's physical attributes and on the fact of you don't see no representation. And you then create a false narrative, and then you love to tear people down, saying not the same, any color, and then you get into a situation now that we're looking at it, and you're now seeing this being projected now continuously, a level of hate for a person who served their country in a way outside of military. And even in that, we're seeing that being disregarded, and people love to say we respect the people that serve, but there's a lot of things that go with that as well. But we're going to talk about that on another subject. I'm just tired of seeing this continuous disrespect for somebody who puts work in their own profession, and you will not like that to happen to you in your own. It don't matter what you do. The pride and ego that we all will appear to push off in our own kind of way, and then we're going to end up in a situation where, that I don't think that's appropriate. I don't like this, and these people doing this. You can't tell me this. You can't tell me that. It's a whole bunch of mouthwash to me. It really is. Hogwash, BS, whatever we're gonna call it. I'm just saying the fact of it all. We're gonna have a game, and it's gonna happen. The NFL is gonna love it. There's gonna be a game between the NFL players and the flag football players. They're gonna put that out. They're gonna go with a distribution deal, which is gonna go between ABC, Fox, NBC. They're all going to go out, Amazon, they're all going to go out and talk about these big deals and talk about numbers, and they're going to bid on the contract to put that game on because hundreds of people are going to watch. I see the game, to see the cycle. This is the hustle to build up the bread. This is all the NFL is liking. It's allowing them to know that, okay, by 2027, we got people that are going to be throwing numbers at us up to the point that when 2028 come up, there will be a deal that will be established maybe in 26 or 27. Mark my word, there will be a distribution deal that will be singly set for this particular game, which then they're going to look at the other numbers. They're going to see what the numbers look like. They're going to see what comes up from those numbers, and they're going to then create their own identity or idea of what that's going to be for the future if they're going to continue on with the flag football. And then if that is a big revenue bring in for the NFL, and the fact that their players and flag football people getting that look at that bread, and everybody gets to see what the money look like, it will probably continue on for the next several years to come, as long as flag football will be apparent in Olympics and won't be taken away based on the same circumstances that happened with the breakdancing, which I ain't even gonna talk about shorty with the breakdancing. I'm just gonna say is white privilege. Ooh, that white privilege. Like a nice piece of pie that you just slice down the sides and you just scoop and you put on the plate and you can get a little spoon with, because we all know she wasn't supposed to be there. That was an event that was a show to our community, and the world showed how much they loved us in that very moment. So carry on. I will end this off, all, thanks to Darrell to coming out representing his people, being the face, being a quarterback, being a leader, and to speak out on the fact that they literally trying to give away everybody's hard work just for the fact that people that they quote unquote know and they love to see play for their teams, and now they want to see and dilute a real show of people that really enjoy what they do, and put in the foolishness that really doesn't do well with the development of the sport itself, and just for the public to like it. I'm tired of the public thinking that they matter. That's getting on my nerves too. That public means stuff. That give that respect back to those people, and stop trying to take people's jobs. We're gonna go on to another topic. I'm gonna be transitioning down to Sexy Red lip gloss line dropping. Y'all, I already said what it was. If you go way back with me, way back. Last year around this time when she was distributing and putting it out for y'all. Y'all remember what I told y'all, and I'm gonna give a little recap on that. Wish I had no audio. If I had no audio, boy, that would what I'd be playing. But it ain't no problem. I could definitely, because I still probably don't own the rights to it. If you know how I was moving back then. So I'll be right back with it. We coming through. Lip gloss line, Sexy Red. We going in. All right, we out here with good old Sexy Red and the lip gloss line dropping. All right, I've been here before. I came up with it. We done talked about it. We done gone over it. We've had all these different levels of lingo. We've had all this conversation about Sexy Red and her lip gloss line. And I'm going to be honest with you. We back again with some bullshit. It's just what it is. I done told y'all before how this was some foolishness. And y'all back again. And she finally released it. Yeah, she had enough people bringing interest. She got enough of investors, enough money put in it for her to drop this wicked line. So it came out August 19th, Monday. She dropped the line. She's like, hey, Sexy Red, lip gloss line. It's bopping. Nah. Got that come out. These are what we got if you don't know what the line is and what's inquired. She has coochie juice, booty hole brown, nut, pussy hole pink, yellow discharge, gonorrhea, blue balls, sex on my period. All right, so she added a couple. Last time I remember there's some coochie juice, some booty hole brown, some nut, some yellow discharge, and gonorrhea, and sex in my period. She added some nut, some blue balls, pussy hole pink. She added all that. All right. That was what was in the original list. So that was a year ago. She added a couple more. She found some more vulgar, ignorant nigga shit to put on there. Now, excuse me for cussing, but this is a bad group. All right. So she out here putting out this this terrible product. Remember, we are the adults, the parents. I had to realize I'm part of the parent generation now. We're all supposed to be parents. We're all around here, got kids and doing it right, supposedly. Air quotes. And I know the constituents that I was raised around, the people that I met, the people I've seen, the people that, felt more comfortable with the things that they were surrounded by and things that they listened to. This is all going towards children. And y'all gonna watch me on the fact of what I'm saying. This is all directed towards children. And I mean children. I'm talking about those babies from the ages of, I'm gonna say 8 to 16. And why I say those are the babies is because the way that we are to be developed and the things that we are exposed to in this world, it is now being gauged and has always been gauged to the fact of aging and causing more disruption in this world than we particularly had not paid attention to. And I wanted to sit here and quote and point out this situation in the fact that she named all this just for no shock value. She added all this in the fact that she understands that with this coloring and everything that comes around, these children are going to buy this. These young ladies, these young people in general are going to be particularly drawn to these things, and they're going to be talking about these things, and they're going to be excited by these things because they are all attached to social media. And I sit here and I realize that even with that being the mission that she's been set to be put upon us, we as the adults, the people that's supposed to be setting the example, are going to allow this to happen in the same way we allow the things that happen to us, which scarred us, the things that we talk about on a daily basis, on the fact of what traumatically set us apart and what put us in situations where, BET Uncut. BET Uncut, the first time a young nigga can sit here, cut on about 1 o'clock, you about to see some booty shaking, you can see some coochie, you gonna see a titty. We ain't gonna talk about what Nelly had going on to Luda. Them niggas godfathered us into softcore porn. And and we just gonna call it what it is. And I think this is another example where we're putting in a high level of being held by a standard of fornication and being put in a situation of who gonna sit here and think about it. Think about it. What grown woman, and I mean it, grown woman gonna sit here and buy a lip gloss called gonorrhea? Okay, that the shock value in that's some kid teen shit, and that's what she's edging it for, and that's why I'm letting people know, our babies are being attacked on the same levels of what we were attacked at, and we're gonna allow this to happen because history is gonna repeat itself. Because instead of you being a person that addresses that you got to address that you have a problem, you're going to allow somebody that's going to affect you, your family, and how they are happy and how they're going to move and how we're going to grow as generally as anybody in this world. And we're going to get drawn back by a fact of we're not going to really be able to really look out for one another because we're allowing somebody who can't even sell tickets, by the way. You grown women finally woke up. Y'all rather just listen to the radio and do ratchet shit, drink Hennessy and shit. And she can't even afford to keep her some shows going. She ain't the only one. City girls are on their end of the road. They barely can out here pushing. JT gonna get something rolling. She on the motion. But Young Miami is done. Her sugar daddy slash exporter slash child transporter slash executioner slash woman beater slash the nigga that killed Biggie slash the nigga that killed Pac slash what else can we add? He did everything in the book except motherfucking take a picture with Satan, and he might got one of them in his phone for all we know. But just to get to that, it's just the idea that the world is corrupted and got way more wicked and got so dark so fast. And we are seeing some of the worst of people and the worst of this world we've ever seen. And this is a prime example. The sense of what the sister Sexy Red. At the end of the day, the woman is a plant from the way she dressed to the way she do stuff. She's not stupid. She's not intelligent. She doesn't have nothing where she's not has no form of IQ. She has a form of a brain. She has a means of knowing what she has to what she wants to do. I feel like she does have some form of adjustment and looking at things to bettering herself and her idea of her career. But I also say she has a lot of hands in this pot, and a lot of things is that she's not in control of. And I feel like that's the prime example and the reason why for her and what I feel about what she can do and what she's gonna be able to do is not gonna be effective enough in the fact of her being a positive influence, but a fact of her being a negative influence from the way in which you gotta remember the promotion of her having Booty Hole Brown. That song was not good. It was not good. It was never good. The thing about it, that shit was fucking promoted from World Star to every promo page you've seen on IG. I guarantee from my page, I seen that video scrolling in the time when she was promoting that for at least, like, if I was having been on Instagram for about 2-3 hours, I guarantee I seen that video at least 300 out of those 2-3 hours, and it was continuously played until people finally, it went from a joke to women really feeling like that's the shit you want to be a part of and you want to acknowledge yourself of. We're in an era where how can you have somebody that's going to put out a product like this, and also you're going to have women who can then also ask for this boundary of understanding, the value of what your intellect brings beyond your beauty. Because beauty and intellect you can both have, but you still got to have a level of intellect and a self-integrity to not allow yourself to be minimized by so much of this world's view of ratchetness. It's some of y'all, ratchet is a lifestyle. You want to do what you want and whatever it is. And then that's on you. You only hurting yourself. I think a lot of people don't want to say that. You're hurting yourself because in the image of when you get older, it's just like when you was a kid. It's certain shit you did when you were little that you look at when you older respectfully and you should and be like, oh, that was dumb. Like, oh, I don't know why I did that. And we're going to get to a point like that. And if you grow to a point where you're 20 something, almost 30 something, or your early 20s, and, we all talk about we were fun and we had this age and you only live once and, I had lived and learned. Yeah, but you still should have a certain level of shame. Live and learn with shame. A certain level of shame I have for the fact that some things I did with certain people I should never did. You should never sit there and be like, I don't regret nothing. It all was a lesson. And listen, yes, it was a lesson. You should regret that. That's why we have kids, to allow us to continue the shame. So you don't sit there and be like, yeah, I was a gigolo, I was selling it. But yes, sir, son, if it wasn't for that, I would never got you and understood why I should have had you. That's stupid. That is not realistic. That's what I'm saying. This whole Sexy Red situation is just foolishness. We all doing this for the fact of thinking it's cute and we depressed. Okay? We're depressed. We're all depressed. If you think you're not depressed and you out here showing your ass and selling your body and selling yourself short in every way possible, you got a mental issue. It's something wrong with you. You're not with the regular folks, because the regular folks, we know when we went too far. It's a level to when you know you went too far. If you don't know and you have a level of shame, you don't have that little bit of that grit in your mind, you thinking like, I don't know if I just did that, or think back and like, ooh, you got a problem. And the Sexy Red situation is going to be a problem, because in reality, the things in which she partaking upon and what she's dealing with and what she's dabbling in is going to affect more than just her, but everybody that's around her. And that is to the children that she has produced, to the children everybody else has produced. This is a terrible, terrible thing that she has put out. Anybody that thinks it's just cute and all that are a part of a problem, a big issue. Because for us as a people in general of all colors, but even just in the sense of just looking as a person of color, this is so detrimental to our community in so many different ways, that we've hurt ourselves. We self-inflicted wounds based on already being inflicted with wounds, and this is just not helping us move forward. So I'm just, it wears me down to see my sisters be in this situation and seeing that they choose this in the fact of somebody that is be able to then sell a product. If she's able to sell this product, this is a representation of the self-respect that y'all lack. It's nothing you can do. This is a community thing. You all share this. Everybody loves to be like, oh, not me. I ain't that. Listen, you either is all y'all when you vote or none of y'all when y'all vote. And I think that's the thing is people love to like and be inclusive in voting and then separate yourself with everything else. I'm inclusive in all things. If I ain't banging with it, I ain't banging with it, I'm out. It ain't needing to be known, well, as the fellow community, it ain't a fellow community. Me, myself, and God. That's all it is. Ain't no everybody else I gotta worry about except for what my opinion is and how I'm gonna take care of my family as an individual when I build the family and the foundation. It ain't no point in sitting here and be playing these games and thinking that God ain't watching you. Your people ain't watching you from above, because if you know where you from, and you know what you got going on, your people looking at you crazy in the atmosphere. They looking at you wild. You out of pocket because they seeing how we moving. They ain't not approving this. They have their own scars and think they did crazy, but also they want to not to continue generational change, and we have to affect that with a sense of understanding who we are and what we come from and what we are going to build for our babies into the future. And I just think Sexy Red, it's just not going to help it because Sexy Red ain't established to do any of that because her whole career is established off of somebody already backing her. So to beat the dead horse and to call it where it is, it's dead. It ain't no movement in it. We gotta let it breathe, leave it dead, leave it where it's at. We're just gonna move on to another topic. You know, I particularly would love to continue to talk about severe deepness of it, of this issue, but I think I beat it as long as I could. And I ain't talking about Michael Jackson. It's just I ain't even gonna break down these names. The reason I brought it up is just to let you all know. If y'all agree, you agree. You don't, you don't. This is foolishness. Coochie juice, booty hole brown, nut, pussy hole pink, yellow discharge, gonorrhea, blue balls, and sex on your period. This got to stop. As a black man and a part of this community, this has to stop. It cannot go on no further. My circle ain't got it, and I damn sure ain't trying to have nobody around here, woman, or male, or whatever you want to be. I ain't trying to deal with none of that. I'm just trying to see what it is. So we're going on to another topic. I wanted to go on to the final and the big idea what it is. Deadpool and Wolverine movie review. We're going to go into that. I'm about to break that down in love. We got it. Yee. Alright. So, Deadpool and Wolverine movie review. You know what it is. You got what it was. If you seen the movie, you are a nerd. Okay? You are a nerd. And nothing against you, bro. And nothing against you. You're a nerd. And nothing wrong with that. Nerds is empowered. We all in there. You know, we bopping. The movie was good on the sense that, you know, I've dabbled in comic books. I do enjoy the storyline. I enjoy the different people they brought back from our early 2000 childhood. You know, the Daredevil, the Comer Electra, you know, the one group of the Fantastic Four. We didn't get to bring all of them back because they couldn't afford all those people, because that's a lot of Human Torches, Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, and things. It's a lot of those. It's a lot of them. But yeah, overall the movie, you know, having Blade, if you ain't seen it, I'm sorry for the spoiler, but you probably seen the commercial of it. It was seeing Blade, seeing, you know, Wesley Snipes' Blade again was, you know, awesome. You know, he started the whole MCU now. Yeah, I can't take it away. If it wasn't for that brother in them 2 movies, it wasn't no fucking Infinity War. We can give that nigga his credit. He did what he had to do. He carried him, even though to the point when it was time to get him, they came and get him from the Texas. Disney act like they ain't know him no more. But we ain't gonna dwell on the past. We're gonna work on the future. And our brother did get some money based on Mr. Funny Guy Ryan Reynolds. So just hearing from that, watching that, it was a great movie. Plot was trash. Let's go and get to the point. Charlamagne the God, I heard him say it. He said it had no plot. It did not. Anybody that sit here and say a plot of the fact that they brought the Fox versions to the Marvel and connecting it all to the MCU to give it some form of strings that can then be a part of the MCU to allow these people that are coming back to their past roles. Yeah, cool. I feel you. I definitely feel y'all. Y'all wanna connect the show and let people see what it is. I personally didn't feel like it was enough for me to sit here and dwell on looking at those past connections. It, coming down to the plot, that Professor Xavier's sister, who was killed in the womb, whatever bull crap, who then comes and then uses the thingy that Deadpool was gonna destroy in the first place because he didn't want his universe to be destroyed because the timeline was withering out, and all this, just a whole lot of nothing in the beginning to more nothing to the end, and then the whole contribution of the different Deadpools, and then how the guy that they all got one, Andy, and he's the coolest guy ever. Like, it was a lot. It was really a lot of goofiness and comic book action and just Deadpool behavior. But it was not something for if I was somebody that was outside of the MCU, in which I will tell you I didn't watch Infinity Wars. I didn't care. I think the most I watched, I seen Black Panther 2. I think I seen that second Thor, maybe that third Thor. I ain't see the one we had the Hulk in it. I stopped watching Guardians of the Galaxy. I ain't watching none of that. And honestly, y'all can all get mad. It don't matter to me. I'm not intrigued by the MCU. I'm not a Disney fan. You start seeing Disney hands, and it starts to look like, some behavior that I'm trying to support. So, we looking at Deadpool. Deadpool is a stretch of them being like edgy. It's like somebody turning their hat backwards and being like, yeah, we're gonna allow this to be edgy, and this is so Marvel. This is what we're trying to do. We're in a new front of Marvel, and this still was by far just vulgar, immature. It lacked a real connection to any audience that may have, this is their first MCU and they're just trying to make a movie that they just wanted to see. This was not it. This was a strategic plan, a movie that if you're a fan of a particular thing, you're gonna see. Cool. But that doesn't represent a real majority of really good movies, okay? If I put out a movie, and the reason why this is not a complete movie, and my rating of this movie, I give it a 5.5 out of 10. And why I say that is because if I was to put this movie on with complete strangers and just have them watch, this would probably be the most offensive, ignorant, out of pocket behavior you're gonna see. A movie full of things that you may not know what it is. If you never seen the connection to the first Fantastic Four, you don't know why the Captain American joke was supposed to be hidden. You wouldn't know why Blade is in the film. You don't get who was Conrad Electra. You don't get it's a lot of moving pieces, and this was just a fanboy movie. And I like real cinema. The reason I love to do movie reviews is because I like real cinema. Chick flicks, action, comedy, it don't matter what it is. I love a very thought out movie that can be inclusive for all people, and it doesn't matter if you sit here and you gotta fill them in on all this lore. I think we've gotten into this place where people got so in depth with lore, the market for which really what we're really watching movie for is not it. It's another Aliens movie coming up. I'm not gonna go see that. I might catch it. I ain't gonna lie. I might catch it because I will put out a review, and I would love for people to get that, and I will probably have a box office live review coming soon on movies that I see from a theater, so you can get a raw reaction, because I get to collect my thoughts and collect my words on certain parts and certain movies, so I can kind of like be knowing what I want to say before I say it. So it's like, it's not out of pocket for real. Because, I can get out of pocket. I'm on this YouTube, Apple Music. I can be out of pocket. I can be a little wild. You know what I'm saying? So I like to try to keep myself compact and not try to be so crazy with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but overall, it's not really much you can add to the movie until I'm like spoiling it, like what scenes were the best, and you seeing these people, and getting parts of the X-Men and not getting the whole X-Men MCU idea, and now that X-Men could be a part of Marvel. Yeah, cool. Adding Doctor Doom, getting this whole little, extension of what it is, it being the Tony Stark thing, cool. But it ain't going it ain't gonna be the thing that's gonna grasp me enough or be able to have me get enough people to go see this movie. So it was good that I got to see it on the Amazon tip, but I thank goodness I didn't get courts and trick myself into thinking I was gonna go see that movie in theaters, because I was gonna be mad. $40 to go out there and watch that like I watched it, and then don't forget the other $20 to $25 I'm gonna have to pay. I can sneak the snacks in there, but I ain't on the sugar tooth no more. If you know me, you know me. I don't feel like paying them people with the shanks any more money for them to shank my teeth and tell me, hey, we gonna need $500. I'm about out the game, man. I'm out the sugar trip. So that was Deadpool Wolverine for me. I'm not gonna go into no huge detail. This ain't one of the movies I will give y'all huge details. We're gonna need it quick and subtle. So this is what it is. It's the Barrel City Podcast. Bibbidi Boo Productions. We been up. Y'all made it this far with me. We up. We got so many different moves, so many different actions in here, man. Like, we made it so far. You want made it on episode 6. I'm working on new projects. I want to get y'all something new, something more expanded. These episodes are gonna be the blueprint. If you made it here and you made it there, this is what it is. This is the outro, the intro, the level of new things that's gonna come. And I hope this will be the trail where people can see how much I'm gonna grow from this, my podcast, seeing Barrel City Podcast come alive and being live and seeing it in so many different ways and pictured. And I just can't wait. I'm slowly grinding. At the end of the day, the team we gotta slowly put it together. And when everything comes together, it's gonna be built and it's gonna be a higher level brand, higher than anybody can ever think. Bibbidi Boo Productions, high enough. We making motion. We got different players coming in, and we're gonna be making sure everything can float and do what they need to do. So at the end of the day, I send love, I send peace, I send opportunities to everybody. And I hope everybody that I've contacted, seen, got in parts, have talked to me about my show. I appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you for y'all comments. I thank y'all for y'all love. I thank y'all for y'all consideration. I just thank you completely for just being people that you are. And we're just going into another cycle, into another place. And I hope to keep y'all around with me. I hope y'all can still stay connected with me. I want y'all to hit the level of God in me, but I want y'all to see the level of how much I bring into my perspectives on these topics that I bring to people, and I want people to jog their minds and create this level of dialogue that we've all missed, in the sense of just being able to talk about certain things, but just giving my own perspective, even if I see it from somebody else, and just put my own touch and finger on it. So this is what it is. I thank y'all again for all being here. All over again. I wish peace, happiness, and many blessings to you and your family throughout this. This is the end. And to see y'all next week at the Barrel City Podcast. And we up here. And it is big time. I love you all again. Yeah.